Morning, my mindful ones. We are transcending from the darkness into the light, trying to be enlightened. So, therefore, it's like 6 a.m. and it's June 27th. My daughter's birthday was yesterday, and I was thinking about my kids and what I can do to kind of get in their mindset. You know what I mean? Excuse me, I smoke cigarettes. I'm trying to quit that too. Anyways, so I also want to keep the concept of thought and how to use it, right? So, like, you can be the person with the paintbrush, like that dude that I watch. I post his videos. I forgot his name. I think his last name's from Sorrow, but basically, you can, how do you say it, alter your reality on the way you think and using your imagination. So I was like, you know what, kids have a lot of imagination. They probably know a lot more than us. It's proven fact they do, you know what I mean? Because they don't have limitations as we do, as we have limitations that we put on ourselves, like I can't do it, or, you know, that's why I tell my son, don't ever say you can't. I told him you gotta ask yourself, how can I do that? That way you get your brain to work and figure out the way of how you can do that, and it keeps your mind working, keeps it healthy. So that's how I try to show my son. In saying that, I think sometimes when you hang around a 5-year-old, and as I just finished writing my book and everything, I'm going to try to send it to an editor and see if I can get it published and stuff. But it's basically talking about the same thing, about thought and how I was able to overcome addiction and just totally shift myself, shift my way of thinking. And I did it with pure imagination at first. Like, just, I saw this vision that I can be this person. I can be who I want to be. I just need to see it, tell myself that now in the mirror that's reflecting me, and my behavior reflects my inner me. So controlling my anger is a big thing that I've overcame, you know, like along with, after overcoming that anger, it went to like fear or anxiety. So when I had, like, recently wanting to say something, I might get shaky, I might get sweaty, I might, like, my anxiety kicks so high that I refuse to take medication. So, like, I just don't think it's healthy for my body and the spiritual journey that I'm going on. There's a lot of chemicals in that stuff, which is why I ultimately became over addiction, was to shift that thought and think, hey, you know what, if I don't want to be taking prescription meds to cope with whether it's personality, schizophrenic, we all got a little bit of that. And your personality, you can be who you want to be. What you can wake up today and be this personality, and wake up tomorrow and be somebody totally different, but you don't know that until you start discovering that about yourself, that we all can do that. And therefore, the ones that are labeled schizophrenic and all that, or have multiple personalities, or whatever they want to throw you in a box for, right? I just found a way to cope with it, I guess, if you want to label me that way in your reality, because your opinion doesn't really matter to me, and I don't have to run my life by what you think of me. Ultimately, I know what I want. So therefore, shifting that thinking and that thought all came from this one thing, consciousness, and I did it through meditation, you know, mostly meditating. And in all that meditation, I came to a point where I already had cried out all my issues. I've, you know, cried to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I was meditating. This was the day before yesterday. I reached the point where I could actually see colors and everything with my eyes closed, and, you know, was in this dimension that I was seeing all my chakras aligning for once in my life. The only weird thing was I had my legs crossed. I was sitting in a chair, and my feet felt like if I was a tree, like if my feet weren't there, but they were there, but they were like into the ground, right? Like if my feet were buried like 2 feet underground, maybe 2-3 feet underground, that's how I felt, like up to my knees, right? So then when that happened, I saw this red light, and I kept meditating. It took about an hour. I reached the yellow, reached the green, red, orange, yellow, green. Kept going up, blue, indigo, ultimately purple, and you know what I mean? So, in doing this process, I noticed that I wasn't crying, like to cry, because I already had lost sense of, like, my breath was calm. I didn't really feel my body. I just knew that I was present. I knew that I was in that moment. It was weird, but when I did that, tears started rolling down my cheeks. And I guess I took it in a sense like, I got over everything that I needed to overcome. And I consider myself a winner now. Like, I've overcame so much. And being that I did, helped me see that my soul needed to cry. My soul really needed to freaking cry, because I wasn't trying to cry. I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't like nothing, like no noise, just breathing calmly and tears rolling down my cheeks, straight up. And I was like, damn, when I was finished, I felt refreshed, I felt energized, and just this natural high, like better than any freaking drug that you think could cure your pain. You know what I mean? Better than any freaking drug. But I thought of consciousness, and I reached that higher state of consciousness to where I don't have to point blame or point fingers or say anything. Just the fact that I know I was, drinking or partying with friends once, and I wasn't there for my first kids, and then ultimately my second kids, I was working so much on my relationship and trying to better my relationship, as my partner was too, and realized that I didn't work on myself. There was no time to work on myself having a relationship. Therefore, I made the choice to stay single. Staying single helped me, know who I am without having the opposite sex or even friends. I got rid of friends. And I know I'm a sociable person, so my fear wasn't to become antisocial or whatever. I just knew I had to be a little bit selfish and attend to myself, my inner self, to therefore be selfless and give more. I'm going to be able to give more of me and what's in me and the light that I have on any darkened path of a person that has potentially been where I was at, potentially trying to get where I am, and ultimately move further to this one state of consciousness where you're just this oneness and you're you, and you don't have to worry about analyzing your partner and looking for flaws, and just be one. And I think couples should meditate. I really would want a partner that meditates with me, even if it was 5 minutes a day, just to let our souls connect. I think that's really a positive way to start things too, once you get past the dating, you know what I mean? Don't be like, hey, yo, you want to go on a date and meditate? That would be some fucking weird shit. They'd be like, you weirdo. But, anyways, let me show you what hanging out with a little 5-year-old can do, alright? They make you think outside the box, outside of that box, and it's like their box is never freaking in, I'm like, you tell your child, like, they ask, why is the grass green? Well, because of the oxygen and da-da-da-da, that I tell my son, and the chlorophyll and all this, and that's why the sky is blue too, and he's like satisfied for like a couple seconds, and then he wants to know how come, how does it do that? So you gotta more explain it to him, and he's a really intelligent little 5-year-old, but he knows this is my favorite dinosaur. Okay, Triceratops. So this is the power of hanging out with a 5-year-old. Most of your days, no friends, just a little 5-year-old. Like, what's wrong, Dad? Stop being sad, Dad. Look, we could do this, Dad, and we could play this, Dad, and look, we could do this. And being so selfish, shutting myself out, really helped me see that now I can be the best dad I can be. I had to be a little bit selfish for a little bit, I admit that, but I'm okay with it as the fact that I can move on now. I can move on from every past. But this is the power of the imagination and my story to thought with the Triceratops from my little 5-year-old, which I haven't even showed him yet, but I know he's gonna want to keep it. I gotta make a book of it or something. But here it goes. We got I don't want to get these wet because it's been raining. Excuse me. I don't know if you can see this. Okay. It says, hold on. Where can I put this? Put my Triceratops down. Okay. It says, it started with a thought, right? That's how it started. Just with one thought. Okay. And then that thought was geometry. A snowman. A geometry snowman, right? Then I was like, you know what? That looks nothing like a snowman. Probably looks like something like a caterpillar, right? Then I was like, alright. We move on and we get another thought. And that thought says, it does not snow where I live. I do see lizards, and that's it, a geometry lizard. That's what I should make, a geometry lizard, right? So then, still thinking, like, there's another thought, right? There's another thought. It says, maybe it's too small of a lizard and some wacky geometry, right? Like, yeah, it's a little wacky. It looks weird, right? Okay. That's my lizard, okay? Don't make fun of it, though. I'm not the best drawer, but a beautiful thing is never perfect, okay? Just remember that. And then we have another thought. I was like, maybe it's too big. And then, like, no, it's not big enough. We need a bigger, better lizard, right? That's what we need. We need a bigger, better lizard, right? Because it looks like a caterpillar, weird looking stick. So, my drawing's not that good. But okay. So we move on, right? All of a sudden, we reach the consciousness thought, right? And that consciousness thought says, I know, we need that wacky geometry and a dinosaur. But what kind, right? Like, what kind of dinosaur can we make from this lizard? And ultimately, I already knew what I wanted. I wanted a Triceratops, But I wanted it to be weird and different. Okay, so then we move on. And we had to get a bigger paper, right? And we get this consciousness thought. And we're like, how about a rhino or a Triceratops, right? Or how can we mix them in my world? How can we mix these two, right? Then I was like, damn, that's that, right? I know. We use some imagination, right? We get some imagination. We throw imagination thought in there. And first of all, it's a Triceratops mixed with a rhino. And you get my ultimate conscious imagination thought is, oh shit, yeah. I mixed it up. See, this one's supposed to go first. It was like, how about a rhino and Triceratops? Showed you that one. Showed you this one. Oh yeah, that was imagination thought. Last one, my bad, last one. You mix them two in my world, and you get the imagination of a rynerotops. The end. So that's like my rynerotops. So that's just imagination thought, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not the best drawer, best colorer, but hey, if it works, it works, you know what I mean? Teach a little kid about consciousness at the same time he just taught you how to use your imagination. And so my third eye is awakening. It's a little calcified right now, but hey, let's just in a better place, you know what I mean? I hope y'all, well, have a good day. Be safe. It's daytime now. We're in the light.